Welcome back to Rise and Shine, where we spotlight the trailblazers and game changers in the real estate investing. I am Irismar, and with me, as always, is Jim.
Hello.
Today, we're excited to welcome a guest who embodies the spirit of innovation and leadership in the real estate.
Yes, absolutely, Irismar, and we are thrilled to have Simeon Papailias with us. He is the co-founder of REC Canada, one of the hugest brokerages in Canada. And Simeon is not only a top-tier real estate broker, but he is a pioneer in creating one of Canada's leading real estate teams, where they focus on providing comprehensive education and truly extensive market knowledge.
Yes, Simeon's approach in real estate is truly holistic, spanning from residential, commercial, and pre-construction investments. He's known for his dynamic public speaking and his ability to demystify complex market trends for both seasoned investors and newcomers.
And with his impactful webinars and seminars, Simeon has reached thousands, tens of thousands, guiding them with strategies that prioritize long-term growth and stability. And today, he's here to share those insights directly with us. And Irismar, I might be wrong, he might have reached hundreds of thousands, maybe millions.
Yes, so without further ado, let's get started and help us welcome and learn and deep dive in the conversation with Simeon.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward. Simeon, welcome to Rise and Shine. You're muted, but it's great to see you. Happy that the warm weather is here.
Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Now, we know, Simeon, you guys have been busy at REC Canada, but for those of our viewers that don't know you, which I'd be shocked if there were any, please just give yourself a little brief intro.
Sure thing, my man. My name again is Simeon Papailias. I'm one of the co-founders of REC Canada. REC Canada is a real estate investment-focused sales group. We had a charge of about just over 50 agents. We have a big team of agents that span the GTA. And of course, we work with our national chairman partners across the country. So we're responsible for about 800 transactions a year. And that's 80% of that is investment-focused real estate, with about 20% of it being our existing clients buy, sells for personal reasons, I suppose, regular residential real estate. But we have a major focus on the acquisition and disposition of investment assets, multifamily, commercial, plazas, hotels, etc.
Oh, wow. And Simeon, when you got started, was the first in real estate with in terms of getting a brokerage, was the first thing investor focused, or were you just doing mostly transactional?
No, so we started back in 2006. 2006, 2007 is when I met my partners. I never did residential. I did probably 2 or 3 residential homes just because that was kind of my first pieces of business. But I was coming out of, I grew up and I was raised in the hospitality sector, restaurants. I'm a son of Greek immigrants, and I'm also an immigrant. I came here when I was 14. So Greeks are very commonly associated with diners in this country, in restaurants. It's kind of a go-to. We come from a food culture, and coming here, it's a very easy and low-hanging fruit to provide better food and better service than the status quo. So it was an easy mix for the parents. So I learned that business inside out. As you can also tell, I like to eat a couple of things here and there, a little French fry here, a little hamburger there. So all set aside, I come from a restaurant background. I studied accounting and financial management at Ryerson. And I got into working with CIBC and American Express and their small business receivables side, meaning that I was working with a contingency company looking to restructure past due small business owners for American Express and CIBC portfolios. So right before, I would call it's a step before a file goes into collections or into default, is that contingency group that the bank pays a company to have consultants such as myself help these people and guide them back onto track to making their payments and staying on as small business Visa customers, small business line of credits, etc. during my tenure in growth in that sector, I noticed that 100% of the files that I was miraculously able to save were people who owned real estate. I noticed that 80% of the people on the other side that would progress through the channel and go to collections and onto default and all the other things did not own real estate. So 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, because this is fresh out of school, by 27, to cut the long story short, is when I got into real estate in 2007. So as a young man, getting into the corporate structure, having a very, very good time progressing and understanding what that world's all about. I also learned the power that real estate held, meaning I had, like, we are a real estate family, meaning my parents owned real estate. I bought real estate when I was 23 in 2003, but I never looked at it from an investment perspective. I just knew it was good to have, and this is what we do. We just buy real estate. It wasn't too much thought into it. But when I'm seeing that all the advice that I'm starting to give is surrounding, so in my intake with a new client becomes, hi, Jim, I understand that your hardware store is having a tough time. Do you own the building that you're in? Jim says, yeah, I do. Are you on track with a mortgage? Yes. Well, that's the only thing I'm on track with because my business is falling apart, or I got a divorce, or this person died, whatever reasons put people into a bad spot, right? But I said, but you do own your building. I do. Jim, when did you buy the building? I don't know, 1987. How much did you buy the building for, Jim? $300,000. I'm just looking at the tax assessment alone, which is typically 20 to 30% below market value, and I see it at 1.7 million. Would you say your building's worth about $2.5 million? Of course it is, Jim would answer. I said, Jim, I'm gonna make this into a very short story here. You're in a bad position. Your file was forwarded to me. It is my job to guide you into getting back onto the page you were in 6 months ago. And this can all go away. As a matter of fact, not only can it go away, you might not know that you have access to the cheapest money in your life. Because right now, this line of credit is at 19%.
Yeah.
I can get you at 8% if we collateralize your building, write off all the money that you need to pay off all your debts, as well as creating cash flow you need to get your business back on track. How does that sound, Jim? Jim just got hit with a miracle.
100%.
So we think because we're real estate investors that everybody knows this.
Right.
We have this assumption as industry professionals that people know their options. What do you mean? But you can just do that.
Yeah.
No, people don't know they can just do that. People don't know anything about leverage, about debt, about consolidation, about cash flow. They don't know.
And I love that you were able to start off so young. I mean, in that role, and learning also the value of really providing great advice to somebody and saving them from a terrible situation.
Well, what I quickly realized, not only that I can help people, I also realized that what I'm doing, other people and service providers who are providing these services are making a living off helping people. The mortgage broker is getting paid. The lawyer putting the deal together is getting paid. The only person not getting paid for creating the entire situation was me.
Yes.
So it's okay to help people and do my job. I was getting paid for different reasons. But as far as that whole domino effect that I created with my advice, I was no part of it.
Right. Salaried.
So salaried, and naturally in a corporate setting, way underpaid.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was making great money at the time, given my age. Like, I advanced very quickly because I used to manage people. So a lot of my skill sets were there where they were recognized, but making 140,000 a year when I should be making 500, I know what my value proposition is. I always have and I always will. But being stuck there with no opportunity to make a dime more is not something I was willing to take, because I was born entrepreneurial and I will die entrepreneurial. And I'll give you some updates kind of on what we're working on today. But from an origin story, the minute I saw this, A, I saw the power of real estate. B, I saw the power of leverage and money.
Yeah.
Those who have access to it can get through anything. So it's not a matter of having it. It's a matter of having a means to it. And real estate is absolutely the factor that delivers access to money. And typically over time, the more real estate, or the longer you have the real estate, the more money you can access and the easier you can access it.
And here comes now all of that knowledge and power into REC.
Yes. so here we go.
Investor,
So
here we go. I'm coming.
so
I just learned.
put your seatbelts on. Put your seatbelts on. So REC again, it's always fortune. I've always had I'm not gonna say good luck. I've always had good people around me. I treat people well, people treat me well. I've never suffered much from, I have suffered at the hands of some charlatans before, but not often, and not enough to jade me or break my spirit. I always find there's takers in this world, but I hang out with far more givers than takers. So I have no complaint in life, and this story is no different. 2006, I'm titter-tottering with getting into business for self. I like real estate a lot. A guy I was working with at the same company, same mindset, same type of guy, very alpha, aggressive, wants to make things happen. Says, that's it, broski, I'm out of here. I'm going to be a mortgage broker. I met this guy at Dominion Lending. Dominion Lending was brand new at the time. It had just come out of the gate. And this is 06, 05, 06, 07, somewhere in that range. And he goes, I'm out. He goes, I'm giving you 90 days and you better be with me. And I said, I had just met my what would be my wife. Everything is good. I mean, we got a dog. Like it is a big decision. It is a big decision. And my wife comes from a very, very worker employee family, meaning factory workers, disciplined savers, like traditional Portuguese background. If there was a stereotype and you know it, it's what she comes from. So
label on their comfort zone.
I mean, God bless them. Like, they can never lose because they never put themselves in a position to lose. They're savers.
Yeah.
They'll never grow, but they're more than okay with it.
Yeah.
They will have a house paid off in 5 years. They're going to retire at 65 or 58 with early retirement because of how much work they put in, make wine every September, have their delicious sausage, and live their life. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's what she comes from. So when Simos comes home and says, hey, I'm quitting today, I'm starting real estate tomorrow. Yeah. Like, yeah. It doesn't go as you think it would go. Long story short, I get into real estate. I meet some of my partners. We immediately start seizing each other's and sizing up each other's strengths and weaknesses. I came from a very structured finance department, call center type, database type, work plan type of environment, and from hospitality before then. What does that mean? I know how to treat people well. I know how to buy favor quickly. When you're in the restaurant business, you have 30 seconds to have the client like you and your place. So generosity runs in my veins, people pleasing runs in my veins, and it actually makes me happy. Meaning that if I can make you laugh, I laugh with you. Like, I like it. When I see you eat the pizza from our store and you like it, that makes me happy. So like, you got to be a type of person that takes pleasure in watching somebody eat your food, consume your work.
Yeah.
But I also come from a place where it teaches black and white systems of human behavior and how to use process to win in business at mass, meaning call centers, automated voice dialers, how to treat your employees as a supervisor, then as a manager, how do you treat your supervisors? So I go into this real estate business, and real estate's the Wild West. It was then, it is still today. It's still something that I'm passionate about fixing, and I am fixing it in my own way. But when I went into it in 2006, this is right before the US collapsed, real estate was on a big high. If you remember, I came out of university, I was in university during the pop tech bubble of 2000, finished university by 2002, real estate starts doing this. By 2008, real estate starts doing this. And that's the year that I thought was a great idea to get into in real estate.
And
So,
and your girlfriend at the time, her family must be like, oh,
fuck. It was it was a thing. It was a thing. But again, like, I don't get shook by anything and anyone. Like, I was determined. I had my own plan. I said, I'm not Warren Buffett. I'm not looking to take over the world. All I need to do is 15 transactions. They're like, 15 transactions. How about you do 2? I said, how about I do 15? I said, there's 6 million people at the time in the city. We're at 8 million now. I said, there's 6 million people in the GTA. If I can't find 15 people to like me and choose me to do business, well, fuck, I'll just go back to the office. I didn't stop to do 2 transactions to put bread on my table.
right.
I like to have bread in Spain minimum once a year. That's my choice. I don't need to ask for forgiveness or apologetic to anyone.
Yeah.
I work harder than most people will ever work because I like it. I like what it gives me, and I like working. I love my work. So with that said, when we built REC, everything was being built to scale, where no other realtor at the time was doing that. This is before the Teams model came out. So if anybody who's in the business for just about 20 years, I'm not the only one, many of us are, there was no big teams. There was teams of 2. There was the celebrity agent team model, meaning the Simeon team and what have you. And we saw quickly that if we were to use my senior partner at the time, Simon, may he rest in peace, that would be a mistake. Why? Because Simon is only one person. Simeon is only one person. Jazz is only one person. REC Canada is a brand. Right. It is stood on the shoulders of Simeon, Simon, and Jazz. And at the time, we had a few more partners who weeded themselves out over time as the value proposition changed. But at the end of the day, the reason we stand here today being in our country, Royal LePage is the biggest real estate company, 23,000 agents.
Yeah.
We have number 1, number 2, or number 3 for the last 6 years straight. But I'm not saying it to impress anyone, but rather to impress upon everyone that we didn't put the brakes on after 5 years of success or 10 years of success. Not only did we not put the brakes on, we doubled down and put all the money we were making into systems.
Oh.
Technology specifically, media specifically. The reason you said in the beginning, a lot of people may know you. The reason I know that now, and I'm not saying this from a pompous perspective, with all humility, we paid for half of it in the beginning.
Okay.
Before the Globe and Mail and the Toronto Star and CBC was calling, we were putting out a paid show on AM 640, on AM 1010, that we gambled $250,000 a year on. But that generated $1.5 million in business, because when a lead came in, we worked it to the bone.
Nice.
When a lead came in, when Jim and Irismar called in to say, hey man, I love the show. I love what you said about that. Okay, Jim and Irismar, what are you looking to do? Because and we helped. And we got referrals and we grew. And then we grew the team. And I'm saying this because you're speaking to investors. The investors who watch you, because I've met so many of them, we've seen each other at all the meetups. All these people are looking to find ways to grow and scale. So if you guys, right now I'm on your podcast, this is media. Whoever watches this is watching me and is watching you.
Yeah.
You will be recognized further as a result of this conversation bringing value to somebody listening. If somebody listening does this and brings you on their show, you have succeeded.
Right on.
If that doesn't summarize the journey of like our journey, because I can break that down for 3,000 hours, but this is exactly what we did and how we did it. We started with doing seminars. Back then there was, if to put it into perspective, Facebook was born in 2007. So taking the status quo and thinking the world then was the same as now is not only not right, it's ignorant. Shit didn't exist. The iPhone hadn't come out yet.
Huh.
Yeah.
So we're still BlackBerry, BBM.
Yeah.
So for people to understand, there was no social media ads, Facebook ads to fill rooms. We would have to email out, use word of mouth, put up posters in places, and run ads in the Toronto Star at $10,000 for the Toronto Star's full page ad on the Saturday real estate section.
Insane.
We paid it, but we put 200 people in the seats of Schulich University's campus that came to learn about real estate investing before any of the other organizations you hear about today. We weren't an education company, we were a sales company.
Right.
But we knew that education was the only way to build loyal fans, not consumers. These fans become friends, these friends become transactions, these transactions become referrals. When you give yourself genuinely, not with the intent of selling something today, but building, if I were to take you on and my only objective is to build you wealth, I'm going to do at least 5 transactions in 5 years.
Yeah.
More than I would ever do if I tried to sell you something.
Right on. Yeah. No, I
That's
love
the story of REC, my man.
I love it.
It's beautiful because it shows one, not only the resiliency of where you're coming from, but having that drive and having that mindset and the adaptability of going through the market turmoil and you joining just when you said it was just at the peak, but you have to experience the downfall and look at it now, the success after so many years.
Yeah, and I mean, thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. But like, just to think of the ebbs and flows of business, because we've seen kind of the craziest highs and the craziest lows, because we've been at the top of the heap for a long time. In 2017, I'll give you guys an example, and this is tragedy and all of it involving, is 2015 and 16, I started building custom homes in Etobicoke. And we're building these magnificent in partnership with some of the best builders in the city. You guys may have heard of Jim Carrick. He was a celebrity builder on television, kind of like Scott McGilvery at the time, maybe before Scott, way before actually. He was one of the originals on HGTV.
Oh, wow.
And his partner never made it to, obviously, to Scott McGilvery's insane status of popularity. To be fair, he's not as handsome either. But I mean, Jim is a good guy. Jim Carrick's a great guy. But I mean, Scott's got that it factor. You know what I mean? But all kidding aside, I partner up with this amazing guy, Jim. We pick up a couple homes. We're going to renovate them. This is 2015. We're going through the zoning, committee of adjustments, all the nonsense, architects, planners, markets doing this. It's crazy. By end of 2016, the government has to intervene. Markets white hot. Exactly what was happening during COVID. No different. April 2017, right when I'm about to hit the market with my, what I believe are going to be $3.5 to $4 million custom homes in Etobicoke, Humber Valley, the best of the best. Miss Wynne announces, our liberal provincial government at the time, announces the Ontario Fair Market Housing Plan.
Got about it.
There's people who get punched in the face, and there's people who get baseball batted in the face. So I, again, this is where luck has come in a little bit. Don't I sell my finished product in March, closing June 1st? Don't I sell 3 days after the announcement, the one that I never developed, the one that I have bought for $900,000? I put it on the market for 1.3 and I get 1.15. If it was developed, it would have been 2 million. Smaller one. But I held it for a year. I had private money on it at 10 points. Like I needed 1,100,000 to break even. I get 1,115. So I get out of this, like I'm talking with a hair. I get all my money for the big one, and I break even and make a couple of bucks on the small one, the two that we had left. But the market got humbled in June, July, August, September of 2017. To recover by the end of the year, it turned out to be a 6-month blip. However, there was people who got caught in that blip. There always is.
Yeah.
By September of 2017, after we survive the insanity, my business partner passes on in the most tragic of circumstances.
Sorry.
Which I'm not going to get into this podcast because it has such a positive light to it. But that adversity alone, so 2017 to me, could not be any more hardcore from a monetary policy, government, business, personal loss, business loss, having to pivot, having to change, having to completely reevaluate everything that you've ever held dear. Impact on family, impact on us, because we never think of ourselves.
Yeah.
99% of investors, if you look, I don't know if you guys know what the DISC profile is. DISC, DISC profile. Look at it. It categorizes people into 4 categories: dominant, influential, analytical, etc. You'll see it. You take a look into it. But 99% of investors are alphas. They're looking to change something, to do something, to take something on their own. So most of us are quite similar. Most of us are quite similar. And going through loss, going through pivots, going through change, adjusting the sails is the absolute norm in our life cycle. There hasn't been a year where I didn't have to reinvent an entire process within our business. This year, it might be this vertical of our business. Next year, it might be this one. As an investor, you are a business owner.
Yeah.
If you've taken out $200,000 from your line of credit to invest into an asset, you didn't take your money. You borrowed money. You had access to money. That investment that you bought better work, because now you're putting in jeopardy the normalcy in the asset you had that you no longer have because it's now a liability. I have seen hundreds, maybe thousands of people think that their HELOCs is their money.
Not.
When I do an intake, an onboarding of a new client, Irismar, welcome to my office. Today, we're going to be doing what we like to call a client intake in order to build your real estate action plan. I'm going to ask you some questions. Some you may not be comfortable with. But unless you answer every question, I will not be able to work with you. Because if I ask you, how much capital do you have available for this investment that you want to make? And you tell me 200,000. And I ask you for the source of those funds. And you say, oh, no worries. that I don't want to talk about that. You can turn the around and get out of my office. Not because it's not because of FinTrack that I need to know where your money came from. I need to know if it's your money or if it's borrowed money. Because the return on what I put you in, your life depends on it.
Bingo.
You can't service that debt, and this investment doesn't perform the way we both thought it would, because it's possible. It can happen. Irismar will only blame one person only. And that's me. Even though she made the decision, even though she did everything, the only person that is at fault, guaranteed 100% of the time, is the person who guided her. So if you don't ask the right questions to your JV partners, this is why I'm saying this to you. I don't think all of you are going to become real estate agents or consultants for that matter. But every single one of you that I've ever met at any of our events, other people's events and meetups, every single one of you wants a joint venture partner, because all of us run out of money at some point. What questions are you asking those people?
Yeah.
What due diligence are you doing on Jim, on Irismar, on me? How do you know how strong I really am? You think I might have more than enough money, or you think I might be risk adverse? If you don't ask, and if you don't demand proof of the same, do not go into that partnership.
Yeah, Irismar and I had partners. They made us take a test.
Yes.
To make a personality test to make sure that we could work together, that we would gel together.
Everybody find their criteria, but I love how you brought it to really not only doing our own due diligence, but being honest with ourselves and the people that we're working with. Because if you are an investor like us and we build in the portfolio and we have a vision of what that might look like, we need to share that with you. And I love how you said you ask those questions on the intake, because then perhaps the property that I'm consulting you about doesn't actually make sense for my portfolio.
Because the same property might be might be performing one way, but it could be completely opposite of what your objectives are. And it could be perfectly in line with my objectives. So not knowing what the end looks like and what the vision is for each and every investor, you cannot service their mandate.
Right.
Which takes us to, I'll take you guys to kind of where we are at today. Only for the sake of time. I did promise to you guys that I had some big news. I do want to share these big news with the investor community. I have been working tirelessly for the last 3 years in building a technology platform.
Yes.
The first iteration of this thing is launching this summer. It got picked up by none other than, so it's an ecosystem, a technology ecosystem that brings investment-focused real estate to the forefront for the very first time in North America.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
in Canada and the US, there is not a single place where you can get investment-focused, a digital platform that services A to Z the investor in real estate. There is places like Bigger Pockets. There is places like educational places like Keyspire, like REI, like Wealth Genius. That's to the consumer. To the agent, there is nothing. There is nowhere where an agent can go to learn how to service an investor.
Right on.
Meaning, you residential agent that you sell houses on open houses on the weekend, which is fine and perfect. And then there's a commercial broker on the other side. Commercial brokers are so far and few in between that they're so busy that a duplex cannot be bothered working with a rescom consumer, a guy who's looking to add an income property. Me as a commercial agent, as if I could ever take somebody in the car and spend a week with them trying to find a duplex. To do what? An 800,000 transaction that results into X amount of dollars in commission, it doesn't make sense to me. Why? Because I work on $5 million pieces of land and assemblies and high-rise sites and whatever the case may be. I'm not pissing on anything. I'm saying from a commercial agent standpoint, it makes no sense to work with retail, small mom and pop investors. So that entire missing middle of residential agent to commercial agent to be able to service every Canadian. These people are in people's homes. All the real wealth in this country is in the middle class. That's who holds all the money. So if I'm going to be in your dining room speaking to you about, we need to find a little place for little Susie who's going to university next year, that's going to a residential agent. What a fucking shame. What if that agent knew that instead of buying a 1-bedroom condo for $400,000, we can buy a 3-bedroom condo for $550,000 in the same darn building, rent out each room for $1,000. Little Susie goes through university for free. When you sell it, give the profit to little Susie to buy a goddamn house.
Bingo.
Mm-hmm.
You know this. 99% of people, other than the people in our little circles, don't know this.
It's bringing that awareness and that perspective and teaching them something they don't know.
So I have taken it upon myself to teach the agents this.
Beautiful.
Every residential agent, 23,000 agents from coast to coast in this country, in June of this year, are going to have access to Broker's Playbook designation training through Royal LePage.
Awesome. Congratulations, Simeon. That's great.
By September, it will be outside as well, meaning on brokersplaybook.com.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Royal LePage does have a massive time advantage and specific designation program advantages. I am a Royal LePager, so I do give favor to the house that built me. However, it is going to be a brand agnostic skill set for everybody to learn. Royal LePage is not in the US, Royal LePage is not global, but they are national. So here in Canada, I'm going to be working very closely with them, and later in the year outside of Royal LePage to give this knowledge to everyone. I'm trying to elevate the industry at large while bringing benefits to my company first, obviously. But this is not something that we're going to hold back or gatekeep. People who aren't part of the organization can simply pay for it. And that will come in September. But the whole point of the premise, so I don't get into the minutia, is that agents in this country will finally have access to a program that can elevate their clients' objectives. Instead of doing one deal every 5 years for Jim and Irismar, you're going to do 3 deals every 5 years because you're helping them build, renovate, refinance, and hold. In 15 years, your clients are worth $5 million instead of $1 million.
And then
those clients are going to feed you for the rest of your life, because people, when they're winning, they can't stop talking about their wins.
That's right.
That is beautiful. Not only a great announcement, I think it's a great showcase on display of abundance and that mindset and resilience, which is what we need to. Yes, there is that benefit to the business, but it's the abundance side of it. So I love that you'll be taking it.
Well, and that's big. So that's kind of like the biggest component for today, what we're working on right now. By June or July, I'm hoping to also be able to launch our actual consumer-facing, investor-facing platform, which is the sister company to Broker's Playbook, Investors Playbook, where you, along every other investor in this country, can go create a dashboard. I'll give you a quick 1-2 as to what it is. So let's say you own 3 properties, Jim. You're going to be able to log in. You're going to be able to upload your properties. And in real time, using machine learning AI that I bought from Brookfield, who owns Royal LePage. They provide us with sold data across the country, so you'll be able to instantly evaluate your portfolio. If you put in your mortgages, you're going to be instantly know your loan to value across your portfolio. If you're wondering how you're performing, rental data is going to be piped in for you to run a pro forma or your existing portfolio instantly. Instantly.
Wow.
Press of a button. You'll be able to get in touch with leading lenders directly inside the platform, meaning we've partnered with other people who dream of the same democratization of data, meaning instead of, like, we could have went with TD, for example. In TD, and let's not even use names. We could have the Green Bank pay us $500,000 to be in the platform. Instead of choosing blue, red, or green, we chose a different prop tech that uses an algorithm of real quotes in the marketplace. The green, the red, and the blue cannot service investors properly, period. All of us are looking for exceptions to deals. So we decided to work with a brokerage, a new prop tech that has the technology to not favor the incentive to the broker. So you'll never get pushed a solution that is only pushed to you because the broker is making more money.
Right.
Okay.
It will be the lowest. It will be based on the lowest rate, on the best term, on the best penalties on breakage, whatever you value as an investor, because we know the rate means nothing. Rates mean nothing.
Yeah.
It's the structure of financing that matters.
Yeah.
Because you can get money at 10 points, break it in 6 months and make $1 million, or you can take it at 3% and have $100,000 penalty and make nothing, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So, like, you need to know. If you don't know, you will know because you'll learn. But the whole point is this platform not only does this, but the whole point of it is we're bringing in the biggest global inventory of properties that can be ran analysis on. So that same technology that you can run on your portfolio to see, you can import any property off the MLS into your dashboard and analyze it instantly like you're using Deal Check.
Wow. Okay. I was wondering.
You can also bring in, if you guys know me, I'm a new construction specialist as well, because I figured out early on that instead of fighting for the same 10 listings out there, I can go to a builder and get 300. I'm bringing in over 20,000 doors of Canadian real estate that don't exist yet.
Wow.
You'll be able to analyze those. And every single one of these deals on this platform will be facilitated by, of course, the company that we've built. That's our play. Our big bad agenda is that we're going to give world-class service only to the team in the GTA that you've come to know and trust. And of course, nationally through our chairman partners, which is only top 1%ers across the country. So the people who other people trust explicitly. So in Vancouver, I have an equal. In Calgary, there is a woman that does as much as I do here. In Medicine Hat, in Winnipeg, in Saskatoon, in Regina, there are people that work harder than others. Those are the 1%ers. Those are the people that have partnered with us nationally, and those are the people that will service our mandates across the country.
That's exciting.
It's very exciting, and definitely, appreciate you sharing it with us. I think it's
the first time I've shared it.
Yeah.
So we're finally here. So it's literally the first time I've shared it.
And it's amazing, and it sounds amazing, and we know it's going to be a success.
I thought it sounds pretty good too.
The team in
I've
the
been
background,
holding it in for a long time.
the team in the background behind Simeon is, no, you weren't supposed to announce it yet. I got so excited.
No, we appreciate it, and I know the audience will benefit tremendously, especially the investors, knowing we're going to have investors that will be able to guide us through the journey, but then as the recipient at the end, being able to have that opportunity to have that portfolio seen seamlessly, especially.
So Yeah, so I'll tell you guys one thing, a big portion of this media campaign for this new channel is going to be its real stories. So you guys specifically, and everybody like you, people who are interested in elevating the game for the investor. And you are investors.
Yes.
You are investors. So if you or people you know, or we want to share stories, real stories. I don't want nonsense. Like we can all put together a testimonial. I'm talking about sharing a tragedy, sharing a loss, sharing a massive win. People need to know.
Yeah, they do.
So you guys are definitely going to be a part of it. I'm telling you now, that's my promise to you. And people that you know that you feel are going to be great fits for sharing their journeys. I think true inspiration comes from true people, not nonsense. We try to do the best job we can and inspire those in our industry, and of course those who are living it in our investors, because we're investors too. So my portfolio is my priority. Your portfolio is yours. So let's keep growing.
Awesome.
Easy.
Let's do it. So, Simeon, for a bunch of people that are wanting to hear more about the playbook and the investor playbook, how can they learn more about that? Is there a waiting list, or what can they jump on?
There is a waiting list. I honestly, I'm ashamed to say it, but I think it's investorsplaybook.com where you can join the wait list, I think. But I mean, I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn are my two major places that I actually every so often go. My team mans my social media. I'm on there once in a while just to check in the DMs and make sure that nothing is ignored. But I have a big presence on LinkedIn, big presence on Instagram, and it's S Papailias, Spapailias. Follow me at any one of the places. And of course, brokersplaybook.com, investorsplaybook.com.
Beautiful. I love it, man. Thank you so much for
and for existing real estate needs, I would not be a real estate agent if I didn't. For your existing property needs, obviously, you can always direct yourself to our concierge desk at reccanada.com. Most of you know Tyler Walburn, who's been manning that post for the last decade since he was 22 years old. He defines what client services are. We stole him from Jack Astor's when he was a kid because it was the best service we ever received. And I promise he still delivers that same exceptional service. If anybody needs anything, a second opinion, obviously let us know. That's what we do first.
Awesome. Well, no, thank you so very much. We hope as everyone out there found it insightful conversation today, and we look forward to having you join us again.
Yeah, everybody.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Simeon. Everybody have a great week. Simeon, you can hang out for a sec, and we'll see you next week on Rise and Shine.